The views expressed on this Turnbuckle Tabloid live stream or Turnbuckle Tabloid podcast episode do not reflect the views, thoughts, or opinions of the Rageworks brand, including the Rageworks podcast network, Rageworks content partners, advertisers, and affiliates. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Hey, you. Yeah, you, the listener. In case you haven't heard, because I've been basically saying it for the past few weeks, we just started a new network. Yeah, New York Wrestle Media. It's a whole virtual experience visually for all those connected in the world of wrestling, pop culture, live stream video games. Oh, it's happening. And it's not only me doing it. Yeah. Got a few cohorts who jumped in the mix. Covering subject matters as history, indie wrestling, news of the day, pop culture, and like I mentioned, video games. I know, me too. I'm excited. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and on TikTok for New York Wrestle Media. Follow, subscribe, like, be a part of the vibe of all things connected with New York Wrestle Media.
Five, four, three, two, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Coming this fall, the streets of New York are filled with blue-collar professionals, policemen, firefighters, and those who are in the background saving the lives of over 8 million citizens. This fall, Turnbuckle Tabloid Network presents a medical drama suited for the New Yorker within us all. There is one man, one physician in the medical field who not only speaks the language, but lives the heartbeat of New York City. We got a gunshot victim here. Give me 2 cc's of fluid, yo. He studied at Johns Hopkins, but made his way back home. He is... Yo, you gonna make it, son. Don't worry about it. Dr. Deadass. He doesn't cut corners. He's a straight shooter. And he lets you know. Alright, so bet. We ran through your test. Seems as though that there seems to be some conflictions in your blood work. And I'm gonna have to tell you straight up and down that it looks as though that you may have encephalitis. Oh my God. Are you serious? Deadass. Dr. Deadass is not only known for his intelligence in the medical field, he's also known for his uncanny bedside manner. Alright, son, so boom. I done checked everything out with you, and yeah, although it's gonna be rough, B, but it looks like you got stomach cancer. Damn. Yo, man. Stomach cancer, yo? Deadass. His medical credentials and his execution of patient care has always been a confliction between hospital administrations and executives.
Look, doctor, we cannot continue to have you practicing in this facility if you're going to continue to bring in these individuals who have such contingencies of finding a low life kill rate because you feel as though that because they're inner city individuals, they need our care and cannot fulfill their duties in paying us off with their insurances that don't cover their expenses. Dead ass, yo? You telling me that dead ass? Dead ass? I don't even know what the hell that means. Then there are those special heartwarming moments in which Dr. Deadass is able to swell and tug at your heartstrings. So remember the other night when you was throwing up a lot because you was thinking that you was drinking too much Henny, then you was like, oh man, I'm not going to drink anymore. That's it. I'm done. Well, yeah, you're not going to be drinking, but not for a while because you're pregnant. Oh my God. Really? Yeah, apparently you're pregnant. Yeah, we did a sonogram and everything. You're pregnant. And it's with twins. Oh my God, we're having twins? Dead ass. You're having twins, dead ass. Coming this fall, New York City's own medical drama. A show that speaks the true field of medicine. Dr. Deadass. Thank you, Doctor, for everything you've done for this facility. It's been an honor and a privilege for you to be a part of this fine establishment, but we have to fire you. We have to let you go. Deadass? Dr. Deadass. On the Turnbuckle Tabloid Network. This show is brought to you by
Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to your prayers is here. My name is Ariella Nix, and you are listening to the Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Hey ladies, are you having an unsightly odor that's coming from your happy joy spot? Is the odor so bad that not even small kittens want to sit on your lap? But yes, my friends, we have a product here just for you that can help tame that snappy beast you call a vagina. And that product is Bumpin' Fresh. That's right, ladies, Bumpin' Fresh. Bumpin' Fresh comes in many arrays of different fragrances and perfumes, such as marijuana mint, honey Hennessy, malt liquor lemon, and honeydew. So if you're having problems between those thighs and it smells like someone opened up a new fish market, try Bumpin' Fresh. It'll make your life much easier and your children will want to hug you again. Bumpin' Fresh. Smelling good. Video games. I know, me too. I'm excited. Make sure you check us out on YouTube, Twitch, and on TikTok for New York Wrestle Media. Follow, subscribe, like, be a part of the vibe of all things connected with New York Wrestle Media.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Coming this fall, the streets of New York are filled with blue-collar professionals, policemen, firefighters, and those who are in the background saving the lives of over 8 million citizens. This fall, Turnbuckle Tabloid Network presents a medical drama suited for the New Yorker within us all. There is one man, one physician in the medical field who not only speaks the language, but lives the heartbeat of New York City. We got a gunshot victim here! Give me 2 cc's of fluid, yo. He studied at Johns Hopkins, but made his way back home. He is... Yo, you gonna make it, son. Don't worry about it. Dr. Deadass. He doesn't cut corners. He's a straight shooter. And he lets you know. Alright, so bet. We ran through your test. Seems as though that there seems to be some conflictions in your blood work. And I'm gonna have to tell you straight up and down that it looks as though that you may have encephalitis. Oh my God. Are you serious? Deadass. Deadass. Dr. Deadass is not only known for his intelligence in the medical field, he's also known for his uncanny bedside manner. Alright, son, so boom. I done checked everything out with you, and yeah, although it's gonna be rough, B, but it looks like you got stomach cancer. Damn. Yo, man. Stomach cancer, yo? Deadass. Deadass. His medical credentials and his execution of patient care has always been a confliction between hospital administrations and executives. Look, doctor, we cannot continue to have you practicing in this facility if you're going to continue to bring in these individuals who have such contingencies of finding a low life kill rate because you feel as though that because they're inner city individuals, they need our care and cannot fulfill their duties in paying us off with their insurances that don't cover their expenses. Dead ass, yo? You telling me that dead ass? Dead ass? I don't even know what the hell that means. Then there are those special heartwarming moments in which Dr. Deadass is able to swell and tug at your heartstrings. So remember the other night when you was throwing up a lot because you was thinking that you was drinking too much Henny, then you was like, oh man, I'm not going to drink anymore. That's it. I'm done. Well, yeah, you're not going to be drinking, but not for a while because you're pregnant. Oh my God. Really? Yeah, apparently you're pregnant. Yeah, we did a sonogram and everything. You're pregnant. And it's with twins. Oh my God, we're having twins? Deadass. You're having twins, deadass. Coming this fall, New York City's own medical drama. A show that speaks the true field of medicine. Dr. Deadass. Thank you, Doctor, for everything you've done for this facility. It's been an honor and a privilege for you to be a part of this fine establishment, but we have to fire you. We have to let you go. Deadass? Dr. Deadass. On the Turnbuckle Tabloid Network. This show is brought to you by
Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Ladies and gentlemen, the answer to your prayers is here. My name is Ariella Nix, and you are listening to the Turnbuckle Tabloid.
Hey, ladies. Are you having an unsightly odor that's coming from your happy joy spot? Is the odor so bad that not even small kittens want to sit on your lap? But yes, my friends, we have a product here just for you that can help tame that snappy beast you call a vagina. And that product is Bumpin' Fresh. That's right, ladies, Bumpin' Fresh. Bumpin' Fresh comes in many arrays of different fragrances and perfumes, such as marijuana mint, honey Hennessy, malt liquor lemon, and honeydew. So if you're having problems between those thighs and it smells like someone opened up a new fish market, try Bumpin' Fresh. It'll make your life much easier and your children will want to hug you again. Bumpin' Fresh. Smelling good.
I met the man a couple of times. Never really I didn't know him as. I never knew him personally as friends of mine and other wrestlers knew him. But what was said about him and the kind words that were echoed through the wrestling world was one of a man who was devoted not only to his love of wrestling, to the fan base, but also to his love and devotion to his friends and his family. We here at Turnbuckle Tabloid send our condolences to his family, his friends, and the whole wrestling universe. Shout out to Chris Jericho, who constantly makes a conscious effort whenever he comes across stories like this, where he donates to the funeral services and arrangements and stuff. Shout out to Jericho for doing that. And also want to say that everybody else who's been participating and donating to the GoFundMe, big shout out and thank you for everybody who's been doing that. That's been it's a great cause, and it's unfortunate that our wrestling universe has to deal with that. Shouldn't have to, especially due in part to what has been said and transpired from the stories that occur on how and possibly why and could this had been prevented. I come across a posting that was put by indie wrestler promoter Bull James. Shout out to Outlaw Wrestling. We was just there the other day, and we'll discuss that in a minute. But I came across a posting by Bull James, and I thought it was a poignant message that he made about the occurrence that unfortunately happened on said date. As per Bull James, I really try to stay off this app, meaning Facebook. I came here to get some pictures of my friend Vinny, and who died in the ring Sunday, and I was flooded with some of the fakest bullshit I've ever seen. Trigger warning, this is going to ruffle some fucking feathers, and I don't give a shit. Come find me or go see who you gotta go see. First off, for everyone there who had to witness that, I'm sorry. If you need to speak with someone, seek it out. My messages are open. If you don't have access to professionals, and I'll help whoever I can. With that being said, a lot of people posting and complaining about the ambulance wait time, or posting about having someone on site with CPR skills, or pushing your business before my friend's body is even cold. It's performative. We see through it, even if others don't. We're laughing at you, and it's absolute horseshit. The fact of the matter is that my friend, our friend, died mid-match wrestling for a promotion that started in New York, and when they ran through their bank account, skipped town to New Jersey because they don't require an ambulance, a doctor, and in most cases insurance, aka it's cheaper. It's a cheap cop-out. The same people posting these things are the same people who have spoken out against any athletic commission in New York for years, just because they don't want to put the money up for an ambulance or a doctor and look after the wrestlers who risk their lives every night. I know we say that often, but maybe now it would actually hold some weight. These same people have clamored for a wrestling union while fighting against a commission that requires a promoter to insure wrestlers' medical bills. The policy includes death, for your information. The fucking hypocrites. But hey, some promotions have stepped up and bought blood pressure monitors. That's great. But who's going to check it? The same idiot sitting next to me who thinks 5G caused COVID, who has absolutely zero medical training? No thanks. I'll take my chances. Vince Steele was the best part of us. He loved the wrestling industry, and he brought a smile to the locker room, and that was infectious. He was a solid human being, as you could hope for. Some of you should be ashamed. Some of you should be ashamed. More of you should grow a set. It's just a common practice in the indie world where it's cutting corners. Yeah, it's been highly debated about the strictness in which the New York State Athletic Commission and the committee can be when it comes to professional wrestling. It seems as though they're lenient one way, but when it comes to the indie circuit, they're pretty much tight on the other. When it comes to bleeding, when it comes to fighting in the crowds, and as much as Bull would say, when it comes to having the resources for medical attention that's on a rapid response, that what's need be. It should be common practice that, yes, every wrestler who goes into that ring should be checked before going in front of a crowd. Check their BPs, check what their O2 levels are. These are common practices in medical facilities. Even when you're doing stress tests, they check you before you even take the stress test. And wrestling is a high level of stress that occurs onto the body. These are athletes. These are performers. They're entertainers. They're wrestlers who get into that ring, and each bump they take is almost as though they're playing in a football game or getting hit in a car crash. And there needs to be a monitoring, protecting our wrestlers, protecting our reasons that we love the world of professional wrestling. It's an unfortunate incident that occurred to Vince Steele, and this is not the first time. This has happened on numerous occasions through the years. We're seeing our wrestlers continue to die at a young age, which can and should be monitored. We should be able to have the ability for our performers to get some kind of coverage or to look at, especially health-wise, that they go and get their checkups, and they do their routine doctor's appointments and be able to get medical treatment that they need for anything from obesity to high blood pressure, hypertension, and such. We need to protect our wrestlers, and we also need to protect ourselves as fans as well, because many of us are getting older. I, for one, can say that wholeheartedly. I'm 50 is not too far away from me, and I'm more conscious now about what I'm dealing with. I myself have been dealing with hypertension for since I was 21. So I'm always conscious of making sure that I'm on my medications. I have my regulatory supplements that I'm taking. Got to make sure of that. And it just needs to be common practice for our wrestlers as well, that they too take responsibility, and hopefully they have some kind of help that they can get for that. I know that the said promotion, we've had the promotion on the show a couple of times, and I know the promoter, he's been on the show a few times, and I know that he's having a heavy heart with this one. This is not an easy thing to swallow. This is a sad moment, and we have to take into heart that although it may not be something that's intentionally done, but cutting corners on individuals' health and at worst their lives is not something that should be taken lightly. This is something that really needs to be done. And yeah, there is truth to what Bull says, that when you can't make it in New York State because of what they have going on with their regulations, they go across the river where it's a little bit lighter in your pocket. Yeah. But is it really is he really worth putting your talent's life at risk when you're not able to provide what needs to be provided? Thankfully, I spoke to somebody who was at the event and who mentioned that, yeah, there were AEDs on site. There were individuals who were able to perform CPR, and the ambulance did take some time because they were on other calls and such. But, you know, that's why you have to have them on site already. They have to be at the ready. You know, and mind you, I worked in the career for a couple of years. I worked with transportations. I worked with EMS units. I worked with EMTs and such. And yeah, it could, you know, per hour it could be pricey, but you have to take that risk when you're dealing with your performers, when you're dealing with your wrestlers. You have to take care of them first. And that should be a common practice, you know, and I'm hoping down the line, unfortunately, Vince Steele's death will be an example and a possible change in trait when it comes to having models, rules, and policies in place to ensure that there is defibrillators and AMTs and EMSs on site for wrestling events. This should be a common practice. This is what we need to have for them. But once again, we here at Turnbuckle Tabloid and also with New York Wrestle Media send our love and condolences to Vince Steele and his family and his friends and those who loved him very, very dearly. It's sad that we had to have a moment like this, and to those who were there and had to see that. I'm sorry that you had to. It's unfortunate that you guys had to go through that. It could be a very traumatic experience, I know. Another end that we are discussing is an end of a career, and that being of friend of the show and family to many of us, especially me. He's good. He's good people's. He's a guy that's always whenever I need to ask a question or hit him up, or if he could get on the show, he'll always hit me back, and never a moment to where that he leaves me on red. I'm talking about Mr. Notorious 187, our boy Homicide, better known to his friends and family as D. And D has had a long wrestling career, 31 years in the business. That's says a lot. This is generational talent. I believe he started in the 90s as a kid. D is probably a year younger than me. We went to the same high school, actually. Funny. We both went to, he was a year behind me. And we also shared the same peoples from the neighborhood that we actually worked with or grew up with. There was a family that lived in my building, and I'll get to that in a second after this, who their father ran a wrestling school and a wrestling promotion. So during the early days, all the guys from, in Brooklyn would go to that gym to try out wrestling, and Homicide was one of those guys. It was he, Jay Lover, I believe Brian XL, Red, Amazing Red. They've all been there. They've all walked through that Puerto Rican Wrestling Federation or Alliance. I forgot what they call it, PRWA, and the Maximals and such. They've all, one way or another, had been on either a Pedro wrestling card or have trained there early on in their careers. They would do local block parties and such, and Homicide was one of the guys who wrestled there as a teenager. He was about 15, 16 years old and doing that stuff, and I remember them for a long time. It was funny because I brought one of my closest friends to a show, and he without a missing a beat, he sees Homicide walk into the ring, and he's like, Nelson is here? He wrestles? He called him by his full government. It was like, yep, that's him. So it was fun to see during his career what he's done, and knowing that this is a Brooklyn kid who was able to do so much with wrestling. You know, there was a point in time in life that he could have gone the other way. He could have been on the streets. He could have been out there slinging or holding that gun ready for the next robbery to happen for him. But he chose the life of wrestling. And with that life, he wrestled in ICW. He wrestled in Japan. He wrestled for TNA, ROH, becoming a champion there. He's done He's done for so many wrestlers during the years. The opportunity of being a mentor, being a guy that was an eye for them in the ring and an ear outside of the ring. He's been recognized not only for his talent in the ring, but also his heart, dedication, and love to his fellow wrestlers. I've never heard a bad word about Homicide from anyone. No one has ever said anything so as a slight to him ever. You know, you think about it, the generations 1990, 2000, 2010s, 2012, it's four decades that he's wrestled through, and to have someone not being able to have a bad word for this guy, it's amazing. It's a testament to how much love and devotion that his peers see him. You know, from Jersey Pro Wrestling, like I said, Ring of Honor, big matches that he had there. You got to look at a guy who's been in matches with big names in the industry now. You know, Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, Samoa Joe. These are guys who he's gone to war with, but also these are people who's end up being his friend, his family. Tagging with Kenta Kobayashi, you know, being able to be in the ring with his idol Terry Funk, raised on the Bruiser Brody mentality. It's a guy who sat there and put his body on the line, match after match, year by year, and just knowing that the many individuals that he came across and the matches that he had that made him not only become one of the best in the business, but, you know, the best that could ever be available for being under the learning tree and being able to talk and help out anybody else. You hear the great stories that his as we say in Spanish, compadre, the godfather to his kids, that Eddie Kingston talks about him. He talked about in such great reverence just recently, but he's always had that bond with the two. I remember being at the 25th anniversary of his career. I was at that show, and I remember the love that everybody gave him and showed him that night. You know, the opportunity to go into TNA and wrestle, you know, Amazing Red, a guy that you knew and you grew up with, from, you know, two Brooklyn kids, and you actually made it to do that on television. You get to see just how much he's given to the business, and for him to say 31 years is a lot. Not many wrestlers can say that, especially those who he's known for many years, and those who have passed away, in which he saw his many friends who are no longer on walking the earth. It's you when you have a conversation with him about that, you could feel the pain that he goes through, wishing that he had another moment with them, or had some time in which that he could have been there for them more, and possibly made them, hopefully walk them through what they were going through. We hear the love and the admiration, especially for those from a Puerto Rican culture, from Santana and Ortiz, the Maximos, also known as SAT, his friend who he lost early on as well, Xavier. These guys were such a inspiration for, Puerto Rican wrestlers and such. You had those in just the Latino culture when he was out with LAX. He and Hernandez, possibly one of the top 20, top 10 tag teams of all time. And for a guy who barely would cut a promo, or you hardly even knew what kind of attitude you was going to get with him, he was always at that moment to where you just thought that he might not like you, and then boom, all of a sudden he became your friend. And it's not easy in wrestling to have that kind of love and admiration, because as many would say, it's a real cold world out there in the wrestling business. And for you to be able to have that kind of reputation says a lot to his personality and his commitment to his fellow wrestlers. D's always been a cool individual to hang around with. I've been at bars with him and had a few drinks and shit. He's told me stories and such, and many of them I've kept to myself because some of them are just outlandish. But I could only imagine what it would have been like to be a wrestler or to be involved in the business for that many years and been on road trips with them, And it's always funny when I could go back to the YouTube videos of the Samoa Joes and the CM Punks shooting the shit, talking about how much they love D, and especially Punk's his impression of him. It's amazing. And I'm looking at the guys that he's been with, like, Low Key, AJ Styles, Grim Reaper. Shout out to Grim. Shout out to Jay Lover. Shout out to Luciano Burns. That crew. Shout out to Lalo. Those are his peoples for life, bro. Like they all came in one way in wrestling and went out as family. And like I said, it's not an easy thing to do. But the one thing that I know, that he just wished that he would have been able to have, that one opportunity that he could have gotten, was to get that WWE call. Just once, just get that look. Give him the chance. He's spoken on the show and he said, I would have changed my name for one night just to get an opportunity to be out there. But who knows with what's happening now with him now in his retirement? Who knows? Maybe that call can happen, and maybe somebody will plug him in to be a trainer. And because with the vast knowledge that he has, I mean, it's an encyclopedia of wrestling that he has. He said it on the show. He says, it's the only thing I know. If there's one thing I do know is my sports, being his Yankees. Yeah, we always fight about that. It's his Yankees and his love of wrestling. So it's crazy that he had yet to get that. D recently revealed on his social medias and shit in other places where his retirement is due to health. He found a cyst on his brain, which is affecting his motor skills, his vision, and his ability to speak. He shared this information with me a few months ago, and like true peoples, And as much as I could have sat there and used it as a platform to push it, I didn't share his condition because that's my friend, and I wouldn't do that to him. But I was very much I was happy to know that he made the right choice. There's some in the business who believe they'll fight through it and just ignore it. And as I mentioned, we have to protect our wrestlers, and he knows that not only does he have to protect himself now, but he also has 2 little ones at home that he needs to take care of. And without having to get all sappy, but he has his older son who he was there for and was able to progressively get him through it, through life. He had him at a young age, but now he has his 2 little ones, and he has to make sure that daddy's got to be around for them. So, once again, it's a great testament to his commitment to not only to wrestling, but also his family. And I'm happy that he made that choice. He's still going to be doing his work with NWA. He's a producer and the talent there as well. So he's still going to be doing his work there, and he's going to be helping out with Outlaw Wrestling.
Hey ladies, are you having an unsightly odor that's coming from your happy joy spot? Is the odor so bad that not even small kittens want to sit on your lap? But yes, my friends, we have a product here just for you that can help tame that snappy beast you call a vagina. And that product is Bumpin' Fresh. That's right, ladies, Bumpin' Fresh. Bumpin' Fresh comes in many arrays of different fragrances and perfumes, such as marijuana mint, honey Hennessy, malt liquor lemon, and honeydew. So if you're having problems between those thighs and it smells like someone opened up a new fish market, try Bumpin' Fresh. It'll make your life much easier, and your children will want to hug you again. Bumpin' Fresh. Smelling good.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Earl Cooter, and you're listening to Turnbuckle Tabloid.
So today we are actually on Under the Ring Apron, which what James is telling me is the conversational podcast that we have. And today my guest is Jay Santee.
It's me.
It's you.
It's me. Why? I'm so nervous. I've never been on a microphone before. Check 1, 2. Check.
Oh my.
Are my levels good?
We got this. We got this.
Is my levels good? Oh my. It's a weird thing because it's almost self-indulgent. It's kind of arrogant for what I'm doing, but at the same time, I wanted you to do it because you are the freshest face for not only New York WrestleMania, but in the Turnbuckle Tabloid world and for the listeners and such. And you're also the possibly out of all of us who have been in this circle, the one who really doesn't know how all this became, what happened here. Right. So I was like, what a way for me to be more narcissistic than just talk about myself or have somebody ask questions about me. You know, honestly, I've only been interviewed twice before. One was for a British radio station. It was for like 3 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome though. You got international there.
Right. It was like in a tin can, basically. It sounded like they were in a submarine in the whole thing.
Oh, hilarious.
And it was just and it was like a almost like a Radio Free Europe kind of station and stuff. So, but it was cool. I was like, okay, that's fine.
Well, I mean, how did they find you? How did they discover you?
I was in my earlier days on Facebook. I would always jump on. I was whoring myself out for advertisement and promotion, and they contacted me through one of the podcasting groups and reached out and said, hey mate, we would love to put you on. And I was like, oh, okay. So I sat here and I thought I was going to sit and have this, a 30-minute banter with, international folks. I was like, yes, this is going to be great. And when I sat and was ready to go, they said, mate, we only got a 3-minute window. And I was like, oh okay. All right. Well, let's cram it in there, right? Let's go.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And that's how it went out in the atmosphere.
That's hilarious. Well, hey, listen, it's an experience, correct?
Yeah. I mean, it's I wasn't any kind of publicity is great publicity. So whatever works.
Yeah. So you've informed me that Turnbuckle Tabloid is turning 8 years old.
Yeah. It's my second child, actually.
Your second baby.
It's my second baby.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's surreal, actually.
Yeah.
It's such a cliche word to you, but it is. It's surreal.
Yeah.
Can you imagine doing something besides your job or schooling for 8 years?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
A relationship.
And even that could be.
Yeah, exactly.
That could be a tug of war. I've lost friends in less than 8 years, and I still was able to do this.
Exactly. So, how did you get involved with the podcasting world?
Well, now that the mics are on, I might as well just explain it now. So it's all about me today.
It's all about you. It's
all
you.
about
It's your stage,
me.
spotlight. Go for it.
So I started off. It is funny because I thought about this and then I thought about you and I said it always ties to a mutual friend of ours. Shout out to our boy Angel Cruz, referee Angel Cruz. Angel and I have been friends for many, many years. He's another one that I have over a 20-year friendship with. Yeah. And he was always he's tied to wrestling. And one day he brought me into a conversation or an interview that he was doing with a guy that we still know to this day. Shout out to my boy, Lorenz Dean. He was a wrestling promoter, and I think he still does it on the side. I think he's trying to. And he brought me into with him to do this interview. And while we're sitting there, fiddling around to see how we're going to shoot it, what's going to happen, how are we going to do this, I started getting a little bit more involved with the producing of the interview. And the guy Dean was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And he's like, "No, he knows what he's done. He knows what he's doing." Fast forward to linking up with Dean for a little bit. I met up with Richard Butler, who is responsible for Rageworks now. Mm-hmm. It was My Talk Radio before, and now it's the parent company of Turnbuckle Tabloid and all of us, Rageworks. And linking up with him through Dean, he had asked me if I wanted to write articles for their website. And I was like, yeah, sure. I was bored at work at times. You know how it be. Right. And, I would do write-ups for the weekly shows. Let's say it was Raw or TNA at the time. And I would do write-ups for the early days of House of Glory. I was there on the ground floor when House of Glory started. So I was doing their write-ups there. I was doing their reviews and such for on the website. Okay. Met a couple of the guys, knew a couple of wrestlers from back in the days and stuff who linked up with, and I would do their interviews there. Then finally, My Take Radio was abolishing their wrestling, their wrestling show. Mm. And Rich had asked me, he said, "Hey, do you want to take over and do your own thing?" And I was like, "Sure." This was already after I had got into podcasting through Rich for a show that myself and Kicking It with the Keith, who you met during the wrestling shows. We were doing a sports show, and Turnbuckle Tabloid was a segment on there.
Okay.
And finally, Rich was like, hey, if you want, you could spin off your own show. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm already comfortable with doing all this. And it just became a whole, like, it was funny because I had 2 laptops, a little mixer like this. The mics they were shitty. They were always blowing out, and I would have to breathe in heavy so that the mics are flipped back on. Modulation was terrible. It was atrocious. The early days. I go back, guys. If you want to go down to episode 1 of Turnbuckle Tabloid, if you even go further down, go down to episode 1 of the regular season sportscast, you will find how abysmal the audio was. It was bad. It was, but we thought we were the next coming of, Dan Patrick and Keith Olbermann. We were so yeah, it from then on, it just, the first year just became 8 out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah. Time does fly like that, huh?
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah. So when you were approached about, branching out and having your own channel, did you establish goals, or did you just go in like, all right, let's see what this is going to be about. Let's see if we survive and last.
The goals that I had were very small, because since I had already, was in my foray of doing the sports show, I just knew that if anybody ever gets even 8 years ago, I would say 8 years ago was Turnbuckle Tabloid. I've been podcasting altogether almost 9 years, almost 10. So, my belief and idea already was, you're not going to make money. You're not going to make money on this. You're not. This is not a financial, cash grab you're going to get. It just doesn't happen like that. Everybody and a mother has a podcast. Everybody wants to talk about something, even those, relationship, trash men, trash women podcasts. They usually like flame out after the first 3 episodes. So, you already get your spike, and then it just goes downhill from there. So my goals were smaller. The first thing I really wanted to do was get back into podcasting with a co-host. That was, I as you can hear now, I could talk all day to win back of myself. That I've learned to, but for that, I wanted to have a back and forth banter with somebody. I did miss it when I was on, when I did regular season sportscast with TRSS. I did miss that. And I'd like to trade off that conversation, the debates and stuff. So that was one I was looking for. And then the other was basically just branding, just get everything out there and, see, where advertising I got thrown in the ether, and I was able, like I mentioned, just bounce off of everybody. I was annoying people. They couldn't stand me. Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, the comments is like, nobody want to listen to your shitty wrestling podcast. Blah, blah, blah. It was
awful.
It was hilarious though. I thought it was great. I say, see, I know that I'm striking a nerve and somebody's peeping it.
That's true.
So I was good with that. I was okay with that. And whenever, I don't know if you've ever dived into conversations in wrestling groups when you get into it, right? And sometimes you're giving your opinion or you're giving your thought on something, and you'll get the 30 trolls that bounce back with, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, So I ended up just becoming and I would have it saved on my clipboard, and like, if you want to hear my full take on what this conversation is about, catch me on Turnbuckle Tabloid this upcoming episode.
There you go.
Gives a shit about your shitty podcast.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of them tuned in and listened.
You'll be surprised. Like, the early days of the podcast, we were running about 450 an episode, and that's unheard of for a little rinky-dink podcast. You still have your loyalists. Right now the podcast still runs about steadily with about 150 to almost 200 per, But now that we've opened up the access a little bit more to YouTube, sometimes it dwindles, sometimes it shares here and there or whatever. But other than that, it's still, people still, I mean, we've grown some good bonds and relationships with people through the show. And it's always been, I'm always pleased and thankful that they, we still have loyal listeners for that.
Oh, that's fantastic. So speaking of, the guests that you've had, who have been some of your favorite guests that you've interviewed or even just had features with?
My favorite of all time is the man that we're about to see tomorrow. We're going to have a conversation one day once he's settled in and done. My favorite conversation of all time is our boy Homicide. He is the funniest shit, whenever you could just lay back and shoot the shit with him. I had always told him that one day you're gonna run your own podcast, and I'm gonna make sure that happens. We got to get you, because the stories I know you're gonna be able to have. I have a segment just for him on the podcast called Ride or Die with Homicide. He's got themes and everything. So, and anytime he came on the show, and he was in the early days, I didn't hit up on him for a while because I know he was going through his health issues and stuff. Right. So I don't know, but he was always like on a drop of a hat. Yo, bro, if you want me on, I get on, man. I get in. It's cool. Hit me up, bro. Stop acting like a pussy. Just call me, bro. I'll be a bitch. So, so he was cool. My first interview for Turnbuckle Tabloid, and I think I'm going to pull it up for a, close to the 500th episode, if not the 500th episode, was one that was it was rare and ever done at the time. I interviewed Amazing Red.
Wow.
I got Red right when HOG was about to hit on all cylinders. And I linked up with, shout out to Brian Excel, who's also a good supporter of the show as well. He's been cool with us for a long time. And he was like, yo, CNT, if you want, I could get Red to pull up. And I'm like, get out of here. You ain't gonna get Red. No, yo, I got you, son. Don't worry about it. I got you. Yo, you show mad love to HOG. Yo, I got you. So I was like, hey, whatever. Hits me up and it's like, yo, we outside. I'm like, what? Oh shit. So, and Red did an in-house interview with us, and that is rare that you can get that. So I got
very elusive and quiet. So yeah, that's incredible.
I got my Red look
at that,
my figure here, and then on that's the same day of I got it autographed. So
that's awesome.
That's another rare thing that you get from me here.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, but I have to say that for the most part, anybody who's come through and had the availability to come through, and I had and shout out to Isaac, man. Isaac Rodriguez, the head dude, big man over there at Arrival Wrestling, man. He helped open up the doors for us as well and got us some big names. We had gotten Calvin Tankman, Daniel Garcia. Shit. when it was hot and the controversy was on, we had Teddy Hart a couple of times on the show.
Oh, okay.
And one incident got us into a podcast war, and that it was crazy.
Really? Okay. So tell me about this war then. You can't just drop it and not talk about it. You can, obviously.
So, we got the interview lined up with Teddy, and Teddy is at his peak of ridiculousness.
Right.
But there was also stuff that was going on that we didn't know about in New York. A lot of the stuff was Florida. You found out later about what's happening, especially with the, unfortunately, the missing woman who was tied to him. But we didn't know that. So when we got him on the show, our initial thought was to get Teddy to come on and just fuck with him, because we know how erratic he can be. So when we got him on, all we did was pretty much like fuck with him, and we let him just go, let him rip. The guy I thought I was bad. He could go.
Yeah.
So once we put it out there, we had gotten another interview afterwards with him and did the same thing. But this one caught traction because now this is when the allegations started really coming up. Thank you, New York, for the sirens. So, there was a podcaster from Florida who was kind of well known now. Now he's known in the podcasting world in this subculture named the Dabbleverse. Any case, and he started to bash us for taking an interview because, oh, you guys are marks. You guys aren't even asking the real hard-hitting questions. Why aren't you asking him about where's the body? Where's the woman at? And I'm like, I said, who is this dude? And I said, what the hell is he talking about? So it was finally, I did the research and I was like, oh shit, I didn't know this was going on. I mean, we didn't know. What the hell was this?
But even if you did, that's not your place to ask. You're not a detective.
Right. But, but even still, I'm the kind of person that would lean into it. Like, I'm okay with that. And the one thing that people have always said is like, yo, and knock on wood, and I thank you guys, is that if there's anybody who could pull out a conversation with people, it was me. So I would have liked to have known that. So, but it just became this trading of barbs over YouTube. And then their listeners started going on our page and commenting. And I was like, yo, what the fuck? So shout out to Matt, man. Matt was my co-host for a long time. And he would just hype it up. He's like, yo, Ray, we got to do something about this. Yo, this is So we would take shots back, upload them. And then I would do parodies. I would do skits about the dude and everything. It just became like this whole, and I was goofing. Like I was trying to take it back to the whole Howard Stern, like Radio Zoo kind of days, like that goofiness that was, because that's what it was. It was just silliness. I had gotten a call from a person that I knew, and he hits me up and he says, yo, who's this dude that's who's talking shit about the show? I was like, some dude in Florida. He says, do I gotta fly out there? And I'm like, nah, we're good. Like you ain't it's not that serious.
Oh, gosh.
We're good. He says, yo, because I will go out there. We're not. I'm like, we're good, fam. We're all right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And if you would see what this dude looks like, let's just say Bane from Batman has nothing on him.
Yikes.
So it could have been problematic.
That would have been added on to Teddy's documentary. Yeah.
As a matter of fact, if you've seen the documentary, the guy who's on it that's doing he's the podcaster on it. He's the guy that we had the beef with. He's the dude.
Gotcha. Yes.
So, and I was mad. I was like, shit, why we didn't get called? We should have been
right.
Why we didn't get the call?
That would have been amazing.
Yeah. I'd have wore the shirt and everything. I'd have been free ads. I'd have been everywhere.
Everything.
I'd have been hawking tchotchkes. You could get buttons. Crazy.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious.
I've been slutting myself out. Who cares?
I know. But can you imagine if you would have asked Teddy Hart those questions and him already a bit of a loose cannon? And he was in-house with you guys, or was this like...
No, this was over the phone. So after that debacle occurred, I had gotten access to a phone call from Teddy when he was in jail. I got a 5-minute phone call from him because it was funny because he called. He says, hey, dude, just want to say thanks for still being a follower of Teddy Hart and everything that Teddy Hart does. It's great. I'm incarcerated right now, but it's like, this is just nothing but a layover for me because Teddy Hart has a lot of things going on ready for him. I can't wait home I can't wait to get out of here and get to my cats. I miss my cats. And he just went off for like 5 minutes, and then you hear, You are in a phone call with a correctional facility in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh my God.
What's going on here?
Bizarre.
This rinky-dink fucking podcast is doing this. I was like, what is this?
Doing phone calls straight out of prison.
Oh man, let me see if I could get a calling card number from somebody here so I could stay on, because you guys have really been supportive, man. But we did get the first interview for him outside when he got released, and he had immediately bounced to Vegas, and he was all over the place. Like he had just hired a manager who was his cab driver, and we that was the one that we laid in on him. We really, really let in on him on that. I was like, Teddy, you got to fix your life. You got to get things for the better. This is not what you're supposed to be. That's what. Listen, guys, I know you guys are trying to be supportive right now, but right now, what we're here trying to do is trying to make the Teddy Hart brand even bigger. And right now, you're not being supportive. This is not the guys that I knew from before.
Wow.
It was insane. The Teddy Hart saga.
Yeah. That's he's definitely a very unhinged guy, and his parents enable it.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah. He's a grown man, and his parents enable this psychosis that this kid has. Like, he should be on medication and getting therapy. And
we always told him, he says, dude, like, you were such a talented wrestler. Like, what do you mean was? I still am. I'm still the best that's ever did it. I'm out there killing it. I'm like, you're not doing anything. But, you know, personality and his, I guess, unrecognized diagnoses just really just squandered what could have been a talented wrestler. Absolutely.
Jeez. But I also noticed that you've done a couple of quick little interviews outside of the studio. Because a couple of weeks ago, you showed us a video of you having a quick conversation with Drew McIntyre.
Oh, my man crush moment.
Yeah, your man crush moment.
all captured. All captured. Yeah, we used to do a lot of man on the spot interviews. We'll just take it out on the floor. I used to love when Matty was around because I would just take Matt and just send him out there and just ask him. I used to have him do stupid questions like Stuttering John shit and just have them ask dumb questions to people. It's like, so you ever farted in the ring? Like, and he would be so uncomfortable. And I have to find that there one in particular, we had gotten Matt Riddle, and Matt asked him, Hey, Riddle, he was so nervous. I was like, come on, ask him. I said, fucking ask him. It's like, do you take any ring rats home after a match or whatever?
Oh my Lord.
And Riddle was like, nah, bro, man, I'm married, dude. Like, I can't even do that. Right. And then we find out, yeah, we knew. Yeah,
come on.
We knew. We had gone to this event, and the funny thing was that, like, it was out there in Queens. It was House of Glory, as a matter of fact. That was the night that Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came out. Oh. And it wasn't in their regular spot. They had to open it up to this other place out in Queens. And we had started to get some recognized. That's one thing about doing this podcast. People start coming up to you and they know who you are. And they'll be like, hey, you do that podcast. Like, motherfucker, you know who the fuck I am. Stop playing with me. Right. You've seen it. So, there was this kid who would see us at the shows, and he goes, hey, you guys want to see if I could get the record for giving the most high fives of people on the line? So I'm like, yes. And as a matter of fact, Matt will record it. Go ahead, Matt. Go get content for this show. And Matt just looking, he goes, you motherfucker. I said, yeah, you know what? He'll be glad to do it. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
I used to love doing shit like that to Matt.
You wouldn't think about doing that with Mike?
No, because Mike, he's so lovable, but at the same time, he'll just like, I'm not doing that shit.
That's true. He would be like, rejection immediately.
I'm not doing that shit. So, but I still have to get him out there to do something. If Matt paid his penance, Mike has to do at least something. I got to get him to do something. I
agree.
Yeah.
You got to get him out there. Even if he's like talking to fans, you know?
Yeah. And I would like him to do the goofy questions like, hey, have you ever sat there and picked your nose and wondered what it tastes like and be like, what the hell are you talking about? I just would love to see the discomfort in his face when that happens.
Oh my gosh, that would be hilarious. So now Turnbuckle Tabloid is reaching its 500th episode.
Yeah.
What, 2 more episodes to go?
Yeah, we just released 497. shout out to Dr. Jeremy Housewright, who he discussed his book on that episode. And that's the other thing too about what we do on Turnbuckle Tabloid is such. It's like, you know, everybody wants to chase the big names. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to get, you know, the elite wrestlers and such like that. I've always been more interested in getting the fans' perspective or those who aren't higher on the card. I've always liked the guys who have been going through it themselves, especially and balancing wrestling and such. One of my another one of my favorites who gets carte blanche whenever he wants to come on the show is Hank Flanagan. Hank has been there with me since day one, and his tales are just interesting to say the least, because whenever we bounce off of wrestling and go into his personal life and his personal world as well, it shows you the grind of an indie wrestler. And it's like, when you're out, when you're not getting booked, or when you are getting booked, or when, you have to juggle your personal life with your personal. Anthony Gangone is another guy who I love having on too, because if you know, you knew what he really did as his shoot gig, as his real life, it's like a total opposite of what he is as a wrestler and such. So those guys are always the most fun to have. That's why I have guys like JV Lewis from St. Louis, who was a listener, and I brought him in to have his own segments, because I said, hey, this fucking guy knows what he's talking about. You know, I want to get him on. He gets his own segment. M2 Inc., who has a big following on TikTok, but for a kid his age, he's pretty wise and knows, you know, all the classic and old school way of thinking for wrestlers. So I always love to have him on. So it's always been good to get that perspective of the wrestling business, not just the top tier guys who've been running it through.
Right. Oh, absolutely. So now looking back at the first episode that you did, now spanning 8 years to almost 500, what has changed along the way?
My size, my weight. People love to ask me, aren't you going to get a shape? I said, yes. And the shape that I have chosen is round. I'm good with it. Well, definitely what people don't understand is that when you're going to be committed to do a podcast, there's a big investment in the podcast itself. I mentioned earlier the audio quality. It's far better than what I used to have to deal with. And, you know, and once again, thanks to Rich, who helped me along with learning how to put this together, what editing tools to use, what's beneficial for sound and quality, and also having the ability to just, you know, not have to worry about if something's not going to work. I once I click something on, boom, it's on. Audio sounds great. We're good to go. And that's been the biggest for that. And also the growth that happens. You know, I usually had a set model for the show. As silly as it may sound, people, yes, I do take notes. I have like material. I do have rundowns on what I'm going to have for, let's say, for the wrestling rundown. I do have bullet points. Cutting a promo, there are bullet points that I want to make sure that I hit on when I'm cutting a promo. And when I'm doing interviews with people, I make sure to do the research. A lot of people don't do that. People just go in and they fanboy it out. And sometimes you got to put in the legwork for it. So that was key to getting the show up and running. And 8 years later, the model is still there, but I just changed the formula a little bit. I don't go back to use too much, because we used to do shows for like 3 hours. Like we would sit in a session, and I had someone, shout out to Little Bit. She was like, dude, I like listening to your show, but I'm not listening for 3 hours. That's insane. I said, you're supposed to chop it up. You're supposed to. don't eat the full meal. You gotta put it in increments. You know what? You can get the leftovers later. Don't worry about it. So this is how we ended up doing, is just chopping things up. And this is what the formula is now, to where you could get it once or twice a week, and it's 2 different segments, and it's all more condensed. So you get it for an hour 20 now, and it's easier that way.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Yeah.
It had to be exhausting too, to sit there for 3 hours just yapping away.
Oh, please. You know how many times I've been damn near, or if not already, had sleeping on the mic. Like, there's many times that I've just
oh my gosh.
it's like, I'm already like through the second 6-pack, and I'm just like, oh God, I got it. Oh my God, we got another segment coming up. Shit.
I know, too much.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did it for the people. I condensed it.
Well, thank you. So do you have any future plans on evolving the podcast now that you're going to hit that 500 milestone?
I thought by the time I would get to 500, I could say, yeah, I could tap out by now. I'm done. But I'm not actually. I'm really still set to go. And what came from it was more of the development and the creation of New York WrestleMedia. And that's what I wanted to do, so that I didn't have to like take on the weight of everything. Right now, we're still in our early stages, and I'm still trying to get the mix of what's working, what's not working. So far, you guys, thank you guys for subscribing and be a part of the shows and viewership on YouTube. And that one is just an exclusive. I want to make sure that everybody goes to that channel and they watch History and Headlocks. They watch the Third Announcer's Table. And that was for me to give you guys, Ariana, Mike, Mark Bays, Wrestling Ream, you guys the platform to go out there and do your thing. And I could sit back and just produce it and just chill and not have to worry about doing, the heavy lifting all the time. Mm-hmm. So it's fun when I'm sitting back there listening to you guys banter, and I could, type it in the keyboard, something like a note or a factoid or something like that. It's always cool to do that. Or if Mike says something and I could correct him, or I could make it's fun for me to do that. I don't have to be in front of the camera or behind the mic. Mm-hmm. I'm looking to do more shows. I want to get more shows involved. But like I said, you got to deal with time, and people have their time. And, I've been juggling my personal life, my professional life, and the podcasting for, like I said, almost 10 years. So I understand that you got to make the time for it. That's why I don't give you guys time restraints. Listen, I would like it to come out this day. If it can't, we'll work on it. It's all right. But now that we got a steady flow of viewerships and such like that, you guys have been able to make it work. And I appreciate the hard work that you guys put into it as well.
Oh yeah, it's been a pleasure. And one of the great things is when people that I know who actually actively listen to it, and they'll send me a message like, "Yo, that was a great episode this week," or the other show I was watching on that one too, and they had some great topics that they were talking about, and it feels good because it shows that we're putting in the work, and it's appreciated by everybody.
Yeah, I wanted to develop the YouTube page to have a variety. It reminds me when you were a kid and you went to a party and they had the variety pack potato chips. Right. You got to get the red Doritos, the blue, cheese puffs, whatever you wanted. Mm-hmm. So there's always that array there. But at the same time, you could always look and say, I want to try that. So I that's the way I wanted to model the YouTube page, the network and such. That's why I developed the video game stuff as well. That's good. Episodes coming out too. You got to see the ridiculousness of me playing WWE 2K25. Oh, the bane of my existence. So that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to have that foray of bringing in you guys to do that. It's also cool when you get feedback from longtime listeners of Turnbuckle Tabloid who have now helped to grow New York WrestleMedia. Shout out to Wrestling Fan Frankie. That guy is on it with you guys. He loves the network. We have our boy Bender Britt And I feel so bad because Ben would only be able to watch on Facebook, but we haven't been able to link up because Facebook has these new restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get back to live streaming on the YouTubes again. So we got to do that soon enough.
Right.
But you know, guys like him and such they've been an interesting communications to have when it comes to the listeners providing their insight on wrestling in the shows.
Right. Oh, that's excellent. Yeah, I even would tell you, like, you know, there's some people who are like, hey, how can I get on it?
Listen, everybody does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing about it too. It's that if you open it up, and especially if you know that somebody's going to be good, I instantly knew with you, I was like, she's got it. I know that she knows her shit. She's not afraid to be opinionated. She's going to be good. I knew it automatically. When third announcers came in, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to get the urban look. All right, we're going to get that. That's the take we're going to get. But they're also big fans, and they very intrigued and know their stuff. So that's a big part of it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's slowly but surely. You understand that a lot of these wrestling podcasts, they have teams. They have a large team that works with their social medias. They know how to do their get their growths and developments and their pluggings out there. You know, I'm paying Mike to do this. It's like, you know, it's little by little. You guys share your stuff, you know, and I'm getting reels here and there. I'm doing the production on the side here. So, you know, it takes time. It takes a village, as they say, to have things.
Absolutely.
Go.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And one guest I'm hoping to get on the show, not in the wrestling business, but I would love to, if I can convince him, is my brother.
Oh, yeah. I'm waiting for as well.
Yeah, because he is the encyclopedia of professional wrestling. Sometimes he'll send me a video and then I'll say, when was this? And he'll give me the whole spiel off the top of his head. I'm just like, how does he know this?
It's always fun to have those. I have to bring back another one. I had Louis Coyote, we called him. I've called him that since we played softball together. With him, he's like Wile E. Coyote, super genius. He's always a disaster waiting to happen. He's like Murphy's Law. But he is a vast historian on like Royal Rumbles. Like he's just studied it. And it's remarkable just to know that. I've never been one to say that I'm the historian. I'm the guy who just follows the nonsense, remembers stuff here and there. I barely remember what I did yesterday, and I'm going to remember what happened at WrestleMania 27. Like,
right.
He comes in, he goes right the fuck back out. I watched it, and it's done.
Right.
But, you know, there's those who are able to capture, and your brother would be such an interesting vessel to get knowledge from. Yeah, that'll be cool. Yeah. And I would love to see the banter that you guys would have about.
God. Absolutely, that'd be fun. Yeah, I'm gonna have to twist his arm a little bit because I know he's a very busy man with work and family. Yeah. But Sundays, I think he's off on Sundays when we record. So just an hour out of your day. Come on, man.
and believe me, once they do it once, it's over. Yeah. When are you gonna have me back on?
Exactly.
All it takes is one time.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
I'll do some, like I said, some arm twisting there. So it's amazing that your 8-year anniversary basically falls in line with the 500 episode that's coming up. Do you have anything special planned to commemorate the 8 years prior to the 500, or you gonna wait?
I have some plans in store. I have people lined up. I have some oldies but goodies that's gonna pop up. People we haven't spoken to in quite some time, people that we were able to mend bridges and get back in form again. Going to be surprising to see how it is 8 years later, commentary wise. Also, just playing some old stuff that we had. Like recently, I've been starting to play like the old bits that I would do. You don't even understand. It'll be at 1 a.m, and something would just hit me, and I'll go, oh shit, I gotta go record that. and it'll be like, and I'm like at 3 a.m, and my daughter will be like, "Why are you up?" And I'm over here singing over a song, and I'm like, "Shh, daddy's working." It's like I'm working over here singing Adele, and it's
because remember when we did the Tabby Awards, and I'm like, what was your daughter and family thinking while you're there recording these songs?
Well, let me tell you, I've moved around my part of town numerous times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's funny because I had an apartment that was big, it was huge. So the studio was in one section of the apartment, and they were all the way in the back. So
right.
I didn't interrupt anybody. But then, when we started moving quarters and stuff, it just started seeing, and it's the singing and the bits are getting closer and closer. And it's like, you have to do that now. And I'm like, yes, if not, my genius will go away. And it's the most shittiest bits ever, but it's the funniest thing. And I said, I got to do this now. I have to. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be bringing some of those back. Can't
wait to see that.
Oh my God. Old commercials we ran. There's 2 commercials that I can't run, and I wish I can, but I can't run them because this was when Mike had a podcast with somebody else. As a matter of fact, he was on you guys' shows recently.
Oh, right.
And we had this playful battle against each other, but I have 2 commercials that's a little bit cutting, and I'm like, no, I can't play that. I can't play now.
Rehash that.
It might open up old wounds, and it's like, no, I can't do that. But yeah, it's I can't wait to do that. Lastly, when we were talking about interviews, it was 2 interviews that I pulled out, and I did them as a joke, not thinking that I was able to get them. One was independent wrestler Grim Reaper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reaper. We got his number, called him, and while he's like, "No, I don't do interviews, yo. I don't do interviews. Nah, fam. Just say, yo, Grim, I gotta ask you something, yo. I know you don't interviews, and I'm not gonna take up your time, but it went from I don't do interviews, yo, to a 45-minute conversation we got.
Of course.
And then there's this kid that was on Grimm's Toy Show. His name was Tommy Salami. We had gotten his number, and he was charging people for an interview. He was charging like $150 or some shit like that. And I got on. I said, "Hey, Tommy, listen, I know you charge for interviews, but I just want to, just touch down. I want to know where I could pay for this and how to do this." And that went from that to an hour interview. I got him for free.
Nah, lovely.
Yeah, the guys was like Matt, and the guys were like, "How the fuck?" I was like, "Some people just want to speak. Then you get it out of them."
Yeah, and you got that inviting personality because you're willing to talk. And if you catch somebody who is another talker, you guys could go on forever. I've seen that for myself.
But you know what it is too? You get to and I get this from not only the job that I do, but I get this from parenting. A lot of times you just let them talk. Mm-hmm. Just be the listener, and interject when you got to interject. Know whether the dead zones are, and know how to do follow-ups, know how to elaborate on a question that was asked, and show emphasis, and let the interviewee know that you're paying attention and people want to hear what it is. And it didn't come easy early on, because especially when you had guys who you were eagerly excited to interview. I had a guy who took over. I forgot his name. He took over the Van Damme role for Kickboxer, and I had him on the show, and I was so excited to have him on the show because I'm like, oh shit, I got like a legit celebrity on. And I was and when I listen to it now, I kind of like cringe a little bit because I was so excited to have someone of that magnitude on.
Mm-hmm.
And And it was only because he was a trained fighter, so it kind of correlated with that. But I was more excited about the movie aspect about it. And I also was acting like how many girls he gets and all that stuff.
Oh, Lord.
So,
Only you, Jay.
yeah. But that was pretty much it for me. Like that was, I learned from that. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore. I got to learn how to like pull back a little bit.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be professional.
Yes. Can't mark out at any moment.
Yes. Got to be courteous. Cool, calm, and collected.
Yeah. It's, like I said, it's just, it's a process that you go through and you'll figure it out, once you get into it. So far, like I said, you've been doing far beyond that I thought that you can do, with the podcast. And it just takes practice and repetition, and you'll pick it up more and more, and it just becomes easy. And that's, I can't say that for a lot of people. There's always been that saying, practice makes perfect. No, I know people who still can't play the guitar for shit, and they've been practicing for years. And you just can't do it. You just can't do it.
Oh, yeah, it happens sometimes. There's some things that just, like, I've been trying to learn a third language, and it's been over a year, and I'm still here like, huh? I know maybe 5 words. Like, oh, I know what that means. Yes. I
just make my quotas. I just make my quotas on Duolingo just so I can keep the streak going. That's all I'm doing. I'm on
day 95. I should be like on day 400 and something at this point, but you know how it is. Some days you kind of like, I can't do this.
I don't want the app to look at me like sad that it's not happening. So
or angry.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Duel's raging with fire.
I didn't even know it did that until my daughter told me. I was like, really? That's what that is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did you go quiet on me?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. It's not like you muted.
No. You gotta. Sometimes you gotta hit the dump button.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
So, any last thoughts? Any last ideas that you want to throw out to us here?
Like I said, it's just I thought that after 5 it would be it, but then I was like, nah, there's a lot more going on, especially now as hot as wrestling has been ever. Like this is that now it's just like now we got to do another 500 after this. Mm-hmm. Another cliche thing is like on to 500 more. No, I'm not done. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to give this up yet. And like I said, especially knowing that I still have the love of wrestling that my uncle installed in me when I first, watched the wrestling match.
Yeah.
When I was backyard wrestling and doing goofy shit with my friends, when I was at home bouncing back and forth, watching Monday Night Nitro and Monday Night Raw back and forth, being able to have that moment in time to where my daughter became a wrestling fan and she met wrestlers and such like that. And, she was known, and recognized at events and such like that to what we got going on now. I'm not ready to give that up yet. Are you crazy?
No way.
This is ridiculous. No,
8 more years.
Whenever Disney buys us out.
Yeah, there you go. Or Netflix.
Netflix. Spotify has just said that you are bought out. I'm like, awesome, take it. I don't give a shit.
Go.
Give us the money. But thank you, man. This was awesome. I know I threw this on you. I lined you up thinking it was somebody else, but no, I knew that you would be the one to have this conversation with because this is a interesting time, not only for our shows and such, but for wrestling fans alike to know where we came from, where it started, and how we're continuing on.
Yeah, no, thank you for trusting me with this.
You think Mike knows the ins and outs of everything. He would have been nothing. He would have to get personal with me.
Introspective.
Yes. So sexy. I'm like, all right, no, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
No, this was great because like I told you, like the only other time I've ever done an interview would be at work. Like prospective teammates that may get hired, they have to ask them questions like, so where do you come from? Where did you work at? Very clinical.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Oh man. Yeah. No, this was great.
Well, yeah, once again, thanks again. And thanks again for you guys who have been supportive and listening for the past 8 years. And also new listeners as well. We the buffoonery and the shenanigans continue on. We'll still be around. We're still not going anywhere yet. And for you new people who are coming on, join the ride. It's fun. Believe me.
Mm-hmm.
We get bumper stickers and keychains. Don't worry about it. You guys have a good time. But yeah.
All right. That was great.
Make sure you check us out on all social media outlets. Make sure you check us out on all the podcasting outlets, and make sure you check Ariana and the rest of the crew at New York Wrestle Media. And and as always, my catchphrase. Check you guys in a sec.
Bye.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff.
Turnbuckle Tabloid.